بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على حبيب إله العالمين وشفيع المذنبين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا المحمود الأحمد المصطفى الأمجد أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولا سيما إمام زماننا وولي نعمتنا الحجة بن الحسن المهدي فداه أرواح العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه أذلة على المؤمنين أعزة على الكافرين يجاهدون في سبيل الله ولا يخافون لومة لائم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. تعجيلا في فرج إمام زماننا ارفعوا أصواتكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. One of the strategies that companies and corporations in general use is what they call as loyalty programs. Now, even though they had to give perks, special gifts every now and then, rewards to their loyal customers, but what they get in return is much more. Because they make sure that these customers, by definition, become loyal to them. And so that mobile device, whatever it is, that thing in 2-3 years from now, when it becomes obsolete and the battery dies, it becomes too slow to operate, they make sure that they're going to come back to that company that they have this, again, loyalty program with. And so it's strategically, it's highly profitable. It's worth it for them. Now, this is in regards to the companies. When it comes to the governments, they utilize the same strategy without having these fancy schmancy names. They make sure that these people, the people in that government, they become loyal to them. And for that to take place, they give every now and then to those people who show leniency and who have the potential to become loyal, they give them rewards. This is the case with every government, with the exception of 2 types of governments. First, the dictators, those who don't care about people opposing their regime and their policies and what's not. The second is those who carry the value of justice in their policies. They don't compromise anything for anyone. And here is where people, generally speaking, when it comes to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and their justice and their application of justice, it is here that you would find people having animosity. Or at least to say, they dislike Ahlul Bayt governing. These days we remember and commemorate, if you will, 2 sad events in history. One, obviously, is what is known as Yawm al-Dar, where Imam Ali's house, alayhi salam, was ambushed, Fatima was killed, his unborn fetus was also miscarried and died. And then there is a second event, and I'd like to make a comparison, if you like, and the connection between the two, and one odd phenomenon that took place between these 2 events. The second event, which started today in the year 35 Hijrah, was the battle of what is known as the Battle of Al-Jamal, the battle of the camel. Now, Yawm al-Dar, where Imam Ali alayhi salam, his house was ambushed, obviously the leading person was Abu Bakr. Yawm al-Jamal, the leading person was the daughter of Abu Bakr, Aisha. Now, more or less we know what happened. In the first event, in the first attack, let's say the first war, basically that took place against Imam Ali alayhi salam, 40 people charged. They came and they tried to set the house of Imam Ali ablaze and burn Fatima al-Zahra in the house, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussain alayhim salam. And Imam Ali was forced in giving the allegiance, with the details that I don't want to delve into. Now, we know that a handful number of people stood with Imam Ali. Obviously, Salman, Abu Dhar, Al-Miqdad. And then there was another person. This person that I'd like to shed some light over. And I want to see how Imam Ali, or how we can learn from what Imam Ali did in the midst of all these events, and specifically in regards to that person. Who was he? Before I mention his name, he was related to Imam Ali. In fact, he was the first cousin of Rasulullah, the first cousin of Imam Ali, and also the first cousin of Fatima al-Zahra, oddly enough. His father, this person that you all know, his father was the brother of Khadija alayha salam. Who was Khadija? The mother of Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha. Khadija had a number of brothers and sisters, one of which was the father of this person, who was a staunch proponent and supporter of Imam Ali. The father's name was Al-Awwam. Al-Awwam, the brother of Khadija. And so Khadija was his aunt. She was ammatuhu. That's on his paternal father's side. On the mother's side, his mother was the sister of Abu Talib alayhi salam. Imagine, Abu Talib was his uncle, khaluhu. His mother's name was Safiya. Safiya, Abu Talib's sister, gets married to Al-Awwam, who is Khadija's brother. So from his father's side, he is the cousin of Rasulullah. Excuse me, his mother's side, he is the cousin of Rasulullah and Imam Ali, first cousin. From his father's side, he is the cousin of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Because his father is Fatima's khal, uncle. This is why it's been narrated that Fatima al-Zahra, when she was conveying her will to Imam Ali, given that she knew Imam Ali alayhi salam was ordered and commanded by Rasulullah not to do anything, as in wage a war against his enemies, she said, look, Ali, if you can't fulfill my will, I will tell my cousin, this specific person. Okay, so what's his name? Az-Zubayr. Az-Zubayr was the cousin of Fatima and the cousin of Rasulullah and Imam Ali alayhi salam. Again, from both sides. And it was only natural to see him standing by Imam Ali's side when all this Yawm al-Dar event took place. But what's oddly enough is that this same man, when Imam Ali came to power in the year 35 after Hijrah, the very first year that Imam Ali comes into power, this man, this same person, Az-Zubayr, the cousin of Fatima, the cousin of Ali, the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is now the staunch enemy of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So from being one of the closest allies and supporters of Amir al-Mu'mineen on Yawm al-Dar, after Rasulullah's demise, to becoming one of the staunchest enemies of Ali ibn Abi Talib when he becomes the Khalifa. Why? Well, that all relates to what we started the lecture with. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are different from the people because they're not ready to give compromise to anyone, to anybody, whoever that happens to be. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah describes Ali ibn Abi Talib in this verse. He says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, man yartadda minkum an dinihi. O people who have brought faith, if you abandon your faith, فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ. Allah will bring instead of you people whom He loves, وَيُحِبُّونَهُ, and they love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَذِلَّةً عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, they are humble to the mu'mineen. أَعَزَّةً عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, they don't show weakness when it comes to the kuffar. يُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, they put all the effort and struggle in doing jihad towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sabilillah. وَلَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ, they don't fear the least bit people admonishing them and speaking against them. They don't care. لا يخافون في الله لومة لائم. Excuse me. لا يخافون لومة لائم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. So as Zubair was again an ally, a supporter, a lover, a protector of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and before Imam Ali, a protector, a supporter, an ally to Rasulullah himself. In fact, when Zubair was killed in the midst of the event of Al-Jamal battle, Imam Ali was given by his killer the head of Az-Zubair and his sword. The Imam takes the sword and he unsheaths it to the half. And he says, سيف لطالما كشف الكرب عن وجه رسول الله. What a sword was this? What a history did Zubair have? Karb is tribulations, is problems. And Rasulullah, believe it, Rasulullah went a lot of tribulations in conveying the message of Islam. One of the supporters was Zubair, with this same sword that now he has come to wage against Imam Ali alayhi salam. But did Imam Ali care? Not the least bit. When the battle of Al-Jamal, it came to an end with the defeat, obviously, of the opponent of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the Imam starts walking in between the ones who were killed from the other camp, from the other army, from the enemies. Listen to this paragraph, it's quite interesting. And he was walking with Ammar ibn Yasir, radwanullahi ta'ala alayh. So, the Imam says, لَقَدْ كَانَ مَصْرَعُكُمْ لَبَغِيضًا إِلَيْهِ. Oh, you who have been killed now and have ended up in the pits of hellfire, I didn't want to kill you. I didn't want all of this to happen. لَقَدْ كَانَ مَصْرَعُكُمْ لَبَغِيضًا عَلَيْهِ. You were Muslims. You were in the same army as all the rest of the Muslims, right? لَبَغِيضًا إِلَيْهِ وَلَقَدْ تَقَدَّمْتُ إِلَيْكُمْ. I spoke to you. I addressed you. I told you. I warned you of not doing this. لَقَدْ تَقَدَّمْتُ إِلَيْكُمْ وَحَذَّرْتُكُمْ عَضَّ السُّيُوفِ. I warned you of the bites of the swords. I'm not joking around with you. If you stand against the truth, I am Ali. I am Ali. والله لأبقرن الباطل حتى أخرج الحق من خاصرته. Wallah, by God, I will rip the stomach of batil so that I could take the truth out of it. This is Ali ibn Abi Talib. I warned you. وَكُنْتُمْ أَحْدَاثًا. But you were amateurs. You weren't listening. You were too arrogant and egocentric, so to speak. وَكُنْتُمْ أَحْدَاثًا لَا عِلْمَ لَكُمْ بِمَا تَرَوْنَ. You cannot foresee what's going to happen. You cannot understand what I am telling you. وَلَكِنَّ الْحِينَ وَمَصَارِعَ السُّوءِ. This is where you ended up in. This is what happened to you ultimately. وَمَصَارِعَ السُّوءِ. You had a good start. In fact, you had a great start, O Zubair. But what happened to him later on? Then he said, نَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ سوء المصرع. We seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from deviating from the right path. It doesn't matter who that person happens to be, as long as he is or she is alive on this earth, there is a chance that they could deviate. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا. Oh Allah, do not misguide us and make us go astray after you guided us. This is a dua from the mu'mineen, because they know that every given challenge and test, someone could fail in that test as long as they are alive. Then they say that Imam Ali, so he looks at this dead person and he addresses him, he looks at that dead person, addresses him. Then they arrive to the son, sadly enough, the son of Al-Miqdad. Al-Miqdad was among the three people who never ever deviated until they died. Al-Thalathah, as the Imam says. But his son, his name was Ma'bid or Ma'bad. His son, he was misguided by the wife of the Prophet and Talha and Zubair, the son of Al-Miqdad. So he was killed on that day. They crossed by the son of Al-Miqdad. وَمَرَّ بِمَعْبَدِ بْنِ الْمِقْدَادِ ibn Amr. وَهُوَ فِي الصَّرْعَى. He was among those killed. فَقَالَ رَحِمَ اللَّهُ أَبَا هَذَا. May Allah bless the soul of his father. Not him, of his father. إِنَّمَا كَانَ رَأْيُهُ فِينَا أَحْسَنْ مِنْ رَأْيِ هَذَا. His father knew us well. His father's stance was correct. He was with the truth. But his son, he wasn't. فَقَالَ عَمَّارٌ. Then Ammar makes an important statement here. He says, الحمد لله الذي أوقعه. Now Ammar was a very close friend to Al-Miqdad, right? But then, even if the son of Al-Miqdad is misguided and he stands against Ali, what does your approach need to be towards that person? He said, الحمد لله الذي أوقعه. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we killed him now, because he didn't know you're right, Ali. وَجَعَلَ خَدَّهُ الْأَسْفَلِ. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala humiliated this man because standing against Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Then he said, Inna wallahi ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. By God, O Amir al-Mu'mineen. La nubali biman anada an al-haq. We don't care whoever that person wants to be. If he opposes the truth, and the truth is who is embodied in Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, we don't care about that person anymore. لا نبالي بمن عند عن الحق من ولد ووالد. If that person stands against the truth, then we make sure that we stand against that person, be it the son or the father. So even if it's Al-Miqdad himself, not his son, Al-Miqdad himself, if he opposes Ali, then we want to make sure that we stand against him and we kill him. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam said, Ya Ammar, rahimakallah ya Ammar. May Allah bless you, Ammar, for saying this. وَجَزَاكَ عَنِ الْحَقِّ خَيْرًا. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly for your stance. And so, in these days, Az-Zubayr was with Ali ibn Abi Talib. And subhanallah, 2.5 decades later, this same person stands against Ali ibn Abi Talib. And Amir al-Mu'mineen doesn't care. If that person is with the haqq, then Amir al-Mu'mineen takes care of him. If he goes against the haqq, Imam Ali doesn't care. He will treat him like any other enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so this is what happens when Ahlul Bayt are in charge. People don't want them to be in charge, because they want the different classes in society. They want these loyalty programs. They want people to be given more because they give more. وَدُّوا لَوْ تُدْهِنْ فَيُدْهِنُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that the enemies of Allah, they wanted the Prophet to compromise a little bit so that they could compromise more for him. But the Prophet wasn't ready to do this. والله لو وضعوا الشمس في يميني والقمر في يساري على أن أترك هذا الأمر ما فعلته. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam comes into power. Again, the year 35 after Hijrah. Sometimes there is money that comes to the treasury of the Muslim nation, And Imam Ali says, disperse it, disseminate it, give it to the poor, give it to the people. So one day, there is money that have come. Imam Ali addresses Ammar ibn Yasir, ibn Tayyahan, and Ubaidullah ibn Abi Rafi', these three people. And he says, look, count this money that we have in the treasury, and then disperse it equally to among the people. And he said, make sure, so this is the verbatim. He said, اعدلوا بينهم ولا تفضلوا أحدا على أحد. He said, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said, give this to the people and make sure that you do not give some more than you give others. So they have to be equal. There is no relative of Ali, son of Ali, a friend of Ali. They're all equal when it comes to this money. So they sit down and they start calculating the amount. And people would pour in so that they want to take their share from the money. So how much did everyone deserve? Only 3 dinars. 3 dinars for each person, for each individual in the Muslim nation. Among the people who came and wanted their share was Az-Zubayr. Az-Zubayr with Talha. And they came with their children. They came to who? Ammar ibn Yasir, ibn Tayyahan, and ibn Abi Rafi'. They said, okay, give us our share. They took out 3 dinars and they gave each one of them. Az-Zubayr looked at the money, then looked at Talha. Talha did the same thing. So they said, are you sure this is how much we deserve? They said, yes. He said, did you do this out of your own decision, or was it the decision of sahibukum, the decision of Ali ibn Abi Talib? They said, no, this is the decision of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, that everyone is equal. They said, this is not possible. It's not possible. We're different. We were in the camp of Islam from day one. Zubair was one of the early Muslims, and he went through so much. And so what do? They come to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. They find him in a place and having a person in front of him that Imam Ali had ista'jarahu, has employed that person to do some digging. Perhaps he was digging a well. So the sun was very hot. In the middle of the day, they come to Imam Ali, they find him in this place. They say, Imam Ali, do you have some time? We speak to you in the shadow. He said, yes. قال نعم. قال له إنا أتينا إلى عمالك على قسمة هذا الفيء. We came to your employees in the government so that they give us a share of this money, and they only gave us 3 dinars equal to everyone else. Ali, it doesn't add up. Imam Ali, it doesn't make sense. We have to deserve more. We deserve more. فأعطونا كما أعطى سائر الناس. They gave us equal to everyone else. Then the Imam said, okay, what do you want? They said, ليس كذلك كان يعطينا عمر. In Umar's time, because we were among the Muhajirin, because we were among the Badriyin, those who contributed in the battles of Badr and the likes, they would add more, they would give us more because we deserve more. The Imam said, فَمَا كَانَ يُعْطِيكُمَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. So you're mentioning Umar. How about Rasulullah? Did Rasulullah differentiate and make a distinction between you and the rest? The black people, the whatever. They sakata. So they remained silent. قال أليس كان النبي يقسم بين المسلمين بالسوية? Wasn't the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam such a way that he would equate between all the people? قال نعم. Yes, this was the case. قال فسنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أولى بالاتباع عندكما أم سنة عمر? He says the tradition and the way of life, that of Rasulullah, is more worthy of imitating and applying that of Rasulullah or that of Umar, Umar would make a distinction. Umar would make this different classes in society, but Rasulullah doesn't. لا فرق بين عربي على أعجمي ولا أسود على أبيض إلا بالتقوى. And so there is no distinction when it comes to giving money to the people. Then he said, قال سنة رسول الله. Yes, the tradition of Rasulullah, that the way that Rasulullah would do things is more worthy of being applied and imitated. ولكن لنا يا أمير المؤمنين. But Ali, you understand well, كان لنا 3 things. We used to have 3 attributes that the rest of the people don't. 1, سابقة. Again, we were Muslims from day 1. 2, عنا. We went through a lot. 3, وقرابة. We are your relatives. We are the Prophet's relatives. Again, Zubair is a cousin from his father's side and from his mother's side towards Amir al-Mu'mineen and Fatimah al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. فَسُنَّةُ رَسُولٍ. فَإِنْ رَأَيْتَ. And so you can make that decision, Ali. You're the governor, you're the ruler. فَإِنْ رَأَيْتَ أَلَّا تُسَوِّينَا بِالنَّاسِ. Come on, Amir al-Mu'mineen, make a distinction between us and the rest of the people. فَافْعَلْ. قال. The Imam said, سابقتكما. So you're speaking about who became Muslim first, right? سابقتكما أسبق أم سابقتي. Who became Muslim first? Was it you or me? They said, no, you. قال فقرابتكما أقرب أم قرابتي. Who is closer to the Holy Prophet, you or me? I am the brother of Rasulullah. In fact, I am the self of Rasulullah. بنص آية القرآن أنفسنا وأنفسكم. They said, no, you're closer to Rasulullah than us. قال فعناؤكما أعظم أم عنائي. So you say, you speak about the tribulations that you went through, all the problems, and who is it, you or me, who went through all the problems and tribulations? Who slept in the Prophet's bed and the people wanted to kill? Who stayed with Rasulullah in all of the wars? Was it you or me? When everyone runs away, Ali ibn Abi Talib is there. When everyone fails to support Rasulullah, Ali ibn Abi Talib is there. قال فعناؤكما أعظم أم عنائي. They said, بل أنت يا أمير المؤمنين. No, we cannot come close to what you have given in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال فوالله. Okay, now that you have accepted this truth, let me tell you, والله ما أنا وأجيري هذا. Me and this employee of mine, the person who I've brought to do some work for me, he said, Wallah, there is no distinction between me and that person in the atiyya, in the mal that I have given to the Muslim nation. وَأَوْمَأَ بِيَدِهِ إِلَى الْأَجِيرِ. He pointed out at that person, الَّذِي كَانَ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. They say that Muawiyah used to give for the Badriyin, those who joined the battle in the battle of Al-Badr, would give them 1,000 dirhams. And that's what Umar used to do and Uthman used to do. Ahlul Bayt are different. Ahlul Bayt, again, have no compromises. You are with the truth, Ali ibn Abi Talib is with you. God forbid, you go against the truth, Ali ibn Abi Talib goes against you. In fact, as Zubair, who for some quiet long time was with Rasulullah and Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he goes against Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen raises his hands and he says, Ilahi, khudhuma. Ilahi, kill them and take them to fire. دخل النار دخل الشيطان من خرهما, as Amir al-Mu'mineen says, if I'm not mistaken by the verbatim. He said, Zubair was a good man, but then the shaitan went inside his brain through his nostrils, من خرهما, and ended up standing against Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. When this battle was about to take place, which was today, Amir al-Mu'mineen said, look, he addressed his companions. He said, don't start a war. That's not the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt. They never started a war. Never ever. And they will never do this. And what Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif will do, he will continue a war that has been waged and has been started by the enemies. Anyway, Amir al-Mu'minin says, don't start that war with the enemies, but let us warn them, let us speak to them. So Imam Ali goes, he speaks to them, he sends Ibn Abbas, he speaks to them one by one, Talha, Zubair, Aisha. And then he sends someone, he takes the Quran, he addresses them, and he is killed. When he is killed, Imam Ali sends another person. He goes, he speaks to them, he warns them, he is killed. By who? By the army of Aisha. And then the third person, Imam Ali says, who goes and warns them and tells them, maybe some of them might repent and come back. A young man stands up and he says, me, Ya Amir al-Mu'minin, I'm ready to do this. Imam Ali said, you will be killed. In fact, Imam Ali was telling each and every one of these three that you will be killed. He said, Fida'an laka ya Amir al-Mu'minin. I want to be a sacrifice for you, Ya Ali. So he goes and he starts speaking. Aisha says, kill him. When they kill the third person, Imam Ali says, that's it. That's it. They wanted it. They've asked for it, and let the war begin. And so Imam Ali warned them. And then he said what I quoted before, that لقد تقدمت إليكم وحذرتكم عض السيوف وكنتم أحداثا لا علم لكم بما ترون ولكن الحين ومصارع السوء نعوذ بالله من سوء العاقبة من سوء المصرع. So I'd like to conclude with what Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam concluded with. He said, نعوذ بالله من سوء المصرع. Amir al-Mu'minin, you're Ali. لولا سيف علي لما قام الإسلام عمود. But Imam Ali, he is fearful, he is cautious, he is vigilant. Because that's how a mu'min needs to be. نعوذ بالله من سوء المصرع. Why is Ali like this? Because Allah is like this. Allah has no compromising. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه. If you neglect and turn away from religion and abandon your faith, that doesn't bring harm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَ. This is why one of the du'as of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam was this, إلهي اجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك. Oh Allah, make me among those who support your faith, your religion. ولا تستبدل بي غيري. ولا تستبدل بي غيري. Ilahi, don't exchange me with someone else. Istibdal means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had assigned and had appointed someone to become a, let's say, a person who conveys the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then, if that person does wrong, Allah might change his decision. لا تستبدل بي غيري فإن ذلك عندك أمر يسير وهو عندي كثير. Sometimes people ask, how can I gain closeness to Imam al-Mahdi عجل تعالى فرجه الشريف? How can I win his heart? It's exactly what Allah wants. Imam al-Zaman doesn't have personal issues with anyone. If you do what Allah wants from you, then you will win his heart. In fact, the hadiths tell us that the prophets and the imams, if I can extract a general law from the different stories, they would search for those who obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilahi arini ahabba khalqika ilayk. Musa would say, Ilahi arini a'bada khalqika ilayk. Those who observe servitude, obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they observe piety, then you will win their heart. Otherwise, be it Zubair, be it the wife of the Prophet, be it the son of Al-Miqdad, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And then if the opposite happens, Khalid ibn al-Walid was a staunch enemy of Amir al-Mu'minin, his very son becomes a staunch ally of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. I think he was killed in one of the battles. The son of Khalid ibn al-Walid. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, another staunch enemy of Ahlul Bayt, his son becomes an ally and a supporter and a Shia of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And they would embrace him. They would accept him. Why? Because the mi'yar, the measurement is that of al-haq and al-batil. Allahumma adir al-haqqa ma'ahu haythu ma dar. It's about the truth. Ali ma'a al-haq wal-haq ma'a Ali. They say that the daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, Kulthum, one day she asked Imam Ali to allow Abu Rafi' was the one in charge of the treasury, to lend Kulthum a necklace so that she could wear in the Eid. They were poor. They obviously used to go through a lot financially. And so maybe she never had a necklace. She said, can I take a necklace from the treasury of the Bayt Mal al-Muslimin just for a day or so, and then I'll give it back. Imam Ali alayhi salam, in the hadith that I saw, I've heard another version, but I'll just mention what I saw. The Imam said, there's no chance. That's not possible. Alaykum salam. She said, Abba, I'm not stealing it, God forbid. I'm not owning it. I just want to take it as a loan. Imam Ali said, is this the case with every other woman in the Muslim nation? Can they all take loans, O Zainab or O Kulthum? So if random Muslim woman comes to the treasury and asks Abu Rafi', oh Abu Rafi', can you give me a necklace for one day? Would you give? Can I give? They wouldn't, they cannot. And so similarly, this law applies to the very daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Be it Aqil, the brother of Imam Ali. In fact, many of Imam Ali's relatives, they abandoned Imam Ali because of this. The likes of Ibn Abbas, the brothers of Ibn Abbas. Ala kulli hal. Ala kulli hal. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, البر الرحيم السميع العليم، أولا أن يعجل في فرج إمام زماننا، وأن يرزقنا الثبات على الصراط المستقيم. The Imam orders and commands us to do this dua in the era of occultation. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وثبت قلوبنا على دينك ولا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا. اللهم وفقنا لمراضيك، اللهم جنبنا معاصيك، اللهم أحينا حياة محمد وآل محمد وأمتنا ممات محمد وآل محمد، وإلى أرواح موتى المؤمنين والمؤمنات خصوصا موتى هذا الجمع. الفاتحة قبلها صلوات. اللهم صل على